Hello, and thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Today's episode is going to be titled, What Are You Really Striving For? It's a powerful question, one that cuts through the noise of daily life. What are you really striving for? It sounds simple, almost too simple, but it's not. In fact, asking someone that can unlock an entire conversation about purpose, hope, survival, and dreams. Every one of us, whether we're conscious of it or not, is working towards something. We may not always be able to articulate it. We might not have written goals or a detailed plan, but we're all moving, pushing through life with at least some idea, however small, of where we'd like to end up. But here's the thing. Sometimes people don't know what they're striving for. Not really. Ask them directly, and you might see hesitation, confusion, or even anxiety. That moment of silence after the question is asked. It's telling. It reveals that maybe they've never really thought about it in a deep, honest way. That's why I think it's so important to ask people that question, because the moment someone is asked, they're forced to reflect. They start thinking. Maybe, for the first time in a while, they realize they've been going through the motions without a clear purpose. That realization can be the first step toward finding something more meaningful. Even striving for something small, like making it to the end of the year to see your family during the holidays, is still striving. It's still a goal. It matters. Not everything we strive for has to be grand or life-altering. Sometimes it's just about getting through the week, the month, or the year. That said, I'll be honest, I don't always feel like I'm striving for much. Or maybe I should say I'm not striving for much beyond survival. That might sound bleak, but I think a lot of people can relate to that. We're in a time where just getting by feels like a full-time job. Living in the US right now for many people is extremely difficult. Prices are skyrocketing, bills are piling up, and wages aren't keeping pace. For a lot of us, it feels like we're just stuck in survival mode, and survival, when you're in it, becomes the ultimate goal. I was listening to a live stream recently where someone said, we don't even have the time or mental energy to think about video games or hobbies the way we used to. And while that may not be true for everyone, of course, some people still make time, it struck a chord with me. Think about it. If your rent used to be $800 a month and now it's $1,500, that's not just a rent increase. That's your gaming money gone. That's your date night gone. That's your future vacation canceled. For many, those sacrifices add up, and soon enough life becomes about enduring, not enjoying. But this doesn't mean people have stopped striving completely. It just means the things they strive for have changed. Now it might be as simple as trying to maintain your mental health, or making it through a week without overdrawing your account. That's real. That's survival. And survival, too, is a form of striving. Still, if I dig deeper, and I mean really dig, I can admit that I want more than just survival. I crave something deeper, something that transcends just getting by. What I truly long for is a genuine, committed relationship. One where love isn't just a fleeting feeling, but a shared, ongoing commitment between two people. We live in a time when the internet connects us in ways our ancestors never could have imagined. And honestly, I don't mind the idea of a long-distance relationship if that's what it takes to build something meaningful. I've talked about this before, how long-distance love has a stigma, how people doubt it. But I don't. Love, when it's real, is like winning the lottery. You don't need it to survive, but when you have it, it changes your whole world. It doesn't pay the bills, but it fills your spirit. It gives you a reason to keep going. Now, some people will say you don't need love to survive, and maybe they're right. Maybe, technically, you don't. But there's no denying that loneliness has serious effects on our health, our mindset, and our ability to find joy. So, to me, striving for a real connection is as valid as striving for financial stability. Sometimes I find myself actively looking for that relationship, not always in obvious ways, but I'm always aware. I wonder when it will happen, how it will happen, who she will be. That longing, that hope, is something I carry with me every day. If someone were to ask me what I'm striving for, I'd probably have to pause for a second. Not because I don't know, but because it's such a heavy, honest question that deserves a real answer. And the truth is, I think a lot of people are just too busy or too burnt out to even stop and think about it. We wake up, go to work, follow the same routines. We're like machines sometimes. If you work a job like being a cashier at a grocery store, what does that job represent to you? Are you trying to move up to a management position? Or are you just there for the paycheck? That's not a criticism. In fact, I think it's a reality for a lot of people. Many aren't chasing some big dream. They're just trying to get by. And again, that brings us back to the concept of survival. It's not glamorous, but it's honest. But it's still valuable to ask people what they're striving for. You never know what they might say. You might hear something profound, unexpected, or deeply relatable. It could lead to conversations about purpose, about meaning, and even about how our society functions. I sometimes imagine walking into a store, any store, and asking the cashier what they're striving for. Not in a rude or intrusive way, but with genuine curiosity. Would they tell me they're saving up for something, or just trying to make rent? Or maybe, like me, they're dreaming of love, of companionship. That kind of question has the power to start meaningful conversations. Because, despite how different we all are, there's a common thread. We all want something. We all need something. And more often than not, we're all quietly striving for something others can't always see. In fact, when you look at it that way, it's kind of beautiful. Despite all of our differences, we all share that one thing. We're all working towards something. That's a bond that can unite us, even if what we're striving for is different. And sometimes we're even striving for the same things. I know there are guys out there like me, around my age or a little younger or older, who are also hoping to find love. Real, mutual love. That realization reminds me that I'm not alone, even if I feel that way sometimes. When you take a step back and consider how many people there are in the world, billions, it becomes clear that we all have common ground. Shared hopes, shared struggles, shared dreams. And that's comforting. You could sit for hours thinking about what you're striving for, and maybe you should. If you can't answer the question right away, maybe it's time for some reflection. Maybe the answer is buried under the noise of routine and obligation. Sometimes what we strive for isn't even about the real world. It can be something as simple as unlocking a certain weapon in a video game, or beating a tough level. It might seem trivial, but in that moment, it gives us purpose. I remember when I was younger, I used to be completely focused on achieving high scores in video games. That was my goal. That's what I thought about constantly. It might not have seemed important to others, but it was important to me. People might judge you for what you strive for, especially if it's not something they understand or value, but that doesn't make your goal invalid. Everyone has different values, different passions, and striving for something, anything, keeps us moving forward. What matters isn't what you strive for, but that you have something to strive for, whether it's survival, love, creative achievement, or just getting through the day. It's all valid. It's all human. So ask the question, ask others, ask yourself, and don't judge the answer, because you never know what someone is carrying with them, what dream they're holding on to, or what battle they're silently fighting. We're all striving for something. Anyways, thank you for listening to this episode of the Moore's October Rants. Signing out, Have a good one, guys. Goodbye.